Okay, continue. What did, oh, bag. We found a bag. Let's see. A bag with a torn strap lies on the ground. You can procure some reagents for creating consumable items here. Okay, let's go to that first. And then we'll go across the street. I was like, I hope it takes less than an hour to get over there. Heaven forbid if it took an hour to get across a street. Ugh. All right, now more books. More a lot of things we really should. Okay, let's see. This is it. Oh, Turendelev. Turendelev, the guardian of Cockatrice. Cockatrice has had no shortage of prominent figures, both those who have long passed away and those who still reside within the city walls. But it's safe to say that the greatest guardian there ever was, is, and will be is the silver dragon Turendelev. Oh, I thought she was a white dragon. Okay, silver makes much more sense. Among metallic dragons, the silver kind in particular has high moral standards. Although, like most of their kin, they often remain indifferent to matters concerning mere mortals. They find it unbearable to watch impassively as injustice and crime are committed with impunity. Gazing down upon Galarian from above, Turendelev has seen her share of injustice and violence. But no tragedy disturbed her peace more than Mendev's war against the Worldwound. Drawn into action by her curiosity and her interest in the Crusaders that paid for others' peace with their own blood, Turendelev swooped down from the mountains and walked among the humans, taking on their form. This world must have felt so odd to her, so different from her own. Luckily for her, Turendelev was not the only dragon living among mortals, and the wise gold dragon Aliceliax became a mentor for Turendelev and her sworn brother Sevalros, who later mysteriously disappeared from history and human memory. Except for this book. Apparently this book remembers him. During her life amidst mortals, Turendelev performed many heroic deeds. She fought terrifying abyssal spawn, kept Cockatrice safe from enemy onslaught, and personally saved crusaders in need. In one such excursion, she herself fell victim to demonic taint. Onlookers reported that her shining silvery armor darkened, her eyes clouded, and her speech and movements became ruthless and crude. But so great were her spirit and determination that she achieved the impossible. She overcame the seed of evil planted in her very heart and returned to good once more. Today, Turendelev is a living symbol of the resilience and stalwartness of Cockatrice, which serves as a stronghold for crusades and humanity's bastion in the war against the demon threat. Ooh. So we learned some fun stuff about Turendelev. We also paused. Why did we pause? Oh, we found a box. That statue just came to life. Oh! I hope that beast doesn't bring what's left of the building down on our heads. Was that display in honor of my visit? I'm flattered. You too. Let's see. The Varisian horror. When they reached the cemetery hill, the rain was pouring. In spite of the weather and the priest's weak protests, Rhaegar had no intention of stopping. If his suspicions were correct, the evil that settled in the village many years ago had to be stopped as soon as possible. The local priest whom Rhaegar and Moghra had approached for help in their quest was alarmed that these strangers were accusing someone from his flock and decided to tag along so that he could defend the innocent should the need arise. Ascending the broken stairs leading up to the ancient crypt atop the hill, Rhaegar quietly pulled out his blade and hid it under his soaked cloak. Once the two got to the hewn stone that served as a sacrificial altar, he spotted the gravedigger. Despite the late hour and the violent storm, he was digging a shallow grave. Before Rhaegar had the time to intervene, the priest, prompted by a desire to clear the hermit of suspicion, went straight toward the massive, misshapen figure. The gravedigger turned his head and, at the first sight of Rhaegar and Moghra, started moving with speed that didn't match his proportions. He leaped far forward, and the shovel cut through the cold autumn air, striking the priest's head. Pieces of skull and bloody scraps spattered forth, and the gravedigger, letting out an unintelligible roar, lunged at the outsiders. Moghra, who had already raised and raised her hands, froze in terror. The gravedigger's gaping mouth was filled with dozens of rows of sharp, needle-like teeth, and the sorceress's weakened mind was struck by a murky stream of abhorrent blasphemy in an otherworldly tongue. Rigor, however, had kept his composure. Dodging to the side, he slashed the corpulent. Corpulent? That sounds okay. Body, as if cutting open a rotten, bloated shell. With a wet smack, the gravedigger's neck and chest burst open, revealing to the mortal eye the beast's true form. One of a foul worm whose sickening body was now gushing in coils out of the now useless human frame. The cemetery keeper was an abdominal, verm-like demon, created from the souls of despicable scum that, in life, used to defile graves and disturb the deceased in the vilest of ways. After rising from the bowels of the abyss and invading Galarian, he and his kind are always drawn to places that used to excite the minds and fantasies of their progenitors. Okay, so they're born from necrophiliacs. That's disgusting. What is this one? Guino pollen? Notes from my travels in northern Avistan. And the knowledge that the best place to observe the effects of extraplanar energy entering our world is a region formerly known as Sarkoris. I immediately set off for the desolate land. Upon arriving in Mendev and making inquiries to find a guide who would agree to escort me to the lands bordering the Worldwound, I came up against an unexpected impediment. The local rangers and guides categorically refused to help me. Desna, however, smiled upon me and led me to a local hunter. After 3 tankards of grog, he agreed to go with me to the Worldwound and show me the area. By the time he had sobered up, it was already too late to reconsider. We had passed the last cordons and had plunged deep into the forest of Sarkoris. Even thousands of miles away from the planar rift itself, an attentive observer can discern the anomalies brought about by the Worldwound. Insignificant differences that become more and more pronounced the closer one gets. The first thing that struck me were the unnatural trees that looked as though they had all been sketched from a single exemplar. Then the quality of the air changed. It tasted different with every inhale, from sulfur to caramel, from acrid salt to spoiled herring. According to the almanacs I had consulted on my journey to Mendev, one of the first signs of the Worldwound's creation was towers of black smoke billowing up from the rift. The terrifying sight above the southern steppe and the tales of my guide confirmed that the effusions of ash and poisonous fumes continued to this day, although I did not expect the air there to taste like one was standing between a confectioner's and a crematorium. As we journeyed on, we encountered the remains of dead livestock, dogs, and even people. Some skeletons bore the marks of demon claws, while others had clearly expired of rather more original causes. We even came across 2 perfectly mummified corpses that looked as though they had turned to stone. Skirting around a sparse and foreboding forest, we came upon a plain that was bisected by a series of unnaturally uniform hills. I would have been only too happy to study said phenomenon, but alas, after several paces, my guide was hoisted up into the air and quite literally turned inside out. After shedding my blood-soaked frock coat and the encumbrance of my souvenirs collected along the way, I hastily withdrew. Yeah, I would too. I wouldn't be surprised if you lost a couple more things besides that. Was this scroll of reduced person? Coal? I guess I need coal. What did we get? Patterned armor of focus. It is light armor. +1 enhancement. Do you wear armor? You don't wear armor, do you? You lose your bonus. Do you wear armor? You don't wear armor. Nobody wears armor. You are wearing a robe. None of you people wear armor. You can't cast spells if you're wearing armor, right? I think that's how that goes. It's like, while we're in here, I'm just gonna check the spells too to see if there are any more that we can learn. Where's your character sheet? No honor among thieves. Oh, that's your story. Okay. Cool. Distorted, not broken. Land the Mongrel is a curious sight even for the distorted land of the Worldwound. A descendant of the first Crusaders, a child of the caves beneath Canabras, he followed his new leader up toward the light of the foreign sky. It seems that nothing can shake his composure, but is that really true? How strong is a man's resolve, built upon a self-imposed death sentence? Oh, that's cool. Blue blood. Cavalier has both youth and talent in her favor. She tirelessly fights demons and cultists alike, but prefers to keep her distance from her fellow warriors. It's hard to tell if this is arrogance inherent to some people of noble birth, or if she has another reason for keeping her companions at arm's length. That's the only one that she has. That's the only one that he has. Oh, contrary soul. You're not a are you? A contrary soul. Falling victim to a deadly demonic plot would be enough to give anyone a grim outlook on life and on the looming threat from the abyss. But the young Count Darren is a contrary soul. He sees the world as a grand playground and seems to turn a blind eye to the self-sacrifice of the Crusaders and the horrors of war. Feasts and frivolity, banquets and banter. Darren lives like the world is ending, and it very well might be. Oh, that was difficult. Okay, but we were needing to find... Is it class? Is it under class? Your muse touched? Okay. You're also... Oh, you're not who I want. This is who I want. I wanted to know if you could cast spells while you have 2 weapon fighting. That's nice. Not your basic attack. Why does this have to be so difficult to read? Figure out. You have evasion, you have this. Where does it say that's sneak attack? I'm just gonna fly with the assumption that you cannot wear armor, and we will leave it at that. They get a +2 bonus on concentration checks. Well, honestly, you're a divine caster, so you probably could wear armor. But, oh, you can wear armor under, oh. That's awful. But you're a little weakling and you can't walk like that. Maybe you can walk like that now. I don't know, we'll see. You can wear that. You're a divine caster. That's not going to infect your arcane casting at all. You don't cast arcane. The great library of Cockatrice has been ravaged and wrecked in the most barbaric way. It seems that someone took perverse pleasure in smashing lamps and furniture and tearing pages out of books. That's rude of them. Oh, it seems as someone's might be over here. Wait, those are Crusaders. What is this? A barrel of flammable alchemical substance. Alright. Temples of Iomade, Father Lorien's Guide for Neophytes. Oh, I learned something new from this book. What did I learn? I don't know. We'll find out, maybe. Traveler, if the road ever takes you to the outskirts of Cockatrice, do not shy away from taking a few more steps and entering the city proper. Apart from the ramparts and the fortifications that stand unshaken, barring the path of humanity's foes and the noble orders that keep their watch against the forces of evil, Cockatrice holds a treasure of a different sort. In days of old, in the fire and the upheaval of the Second Crusade, it became the site for the first and the most crucial of the wardstones. Sacred obelisks that have the power to avert a demonic scourge. No matter how accursed it may be. No evil creature can pass betwixt 2 such stones that now stand along the edge of the world wound and shelter the peace of all Galarian. Even vile demonic magics are powerless against them. For the abyss cannot cross the unseen curtain of the wardstones. Should you arrive at the right time and be virtuous and respectful towards those who guard the wardstone, you shall be granted the great honor of sharing in one of the rituals that support the magical strength of that holiest obelisk. This artifact and the spells invested in it are most sacred, for every wardstone was raised by the Herald of Iomade himself. I guess the Herald is gendered. Okay. The closest of her servants, one who is selflessly devout to the Inheritor's cause and the Crusaders' great mission. And even if you cannot reach the wardstone, do honor Iomade's splendor in one of Cockatrice's churches, and pay thus your respects to the humankind's protector and the sacrifices made by the Crusaders for the good of our world. I'm not really for sure what we learned from that book, besides, other knowledge. Are we burning people? Guys.
Careful now.
What are we doing? A stocky knight with a head of messy black hair stands before you. His armor is spattered with blood. He greets you with a deep, booming voice. Ha, Crusaders. Excellent. I am Captain Caleb Sazamal, and these are my men. I am about to burn these vile backstabbers and heretics here. These pathetic imitators of the traitor Arilu who tricked their way into the ranks of the Crusaders. He is about. The demons still haven't entirely broken through. Okay, goodbye. The knight nods at a heap of severely beaten people and a strange elf whose appearance seems jarring for some unknown reason. Sazamal bellows threats at his prisoners, who seem to be in a state of deep shock and utter terror. A strange feeling rises up within you. It is pure instinct. You don't know what you're about to do, but you are certain that it is right. Let us examine the Crusader's armor and the symbols upon it. I failed. After carefully studying the Crusader's armor, you can say with certainty that they aren't fakes. These men are real Crusaders. Okay, let's take a closer look at the Ruthless one. Caleb is talking too loudly, all while casting sidelong looks at you. You have seen similar behavioral quirks before. In liars. Oh. Let's see. Let's give in to the strange instinct. Idiots, stop. Heed my command in the name of Baphomet. The words fly out of your mouth before you can even think them. Some gut instinct told you that this is precisely what needs to be said in this moment. And the words hit their target. The Crusaders jump in surprise and look at each other in terror. We performed a chaotic action. Corners of Darren's mouth are twitching, like he's struggling with all his might not to burst out laughing. Hey, don't blow my cover, dude. Woljev glares menacingly at Caleb. Didn't you know, mortal? We're everywhere. My homie got my back. Caleb leaps to attention and barks out, sorry, couldn't have known. We'll fix it right away, ma'am. An inexplicable feeling of rightness flows through you. You enjoy seeing the look of oafish terror on the faces of the Crusader and his lackeys when you rebuke them for their fickleness. Let's listen to our gut. Stop wasting valuable fuel. If you like burning books, go rig the Great Garrison Library. Our enemies might try to sneak in there. Step to it. Darren looks at you with amused curiosity and speaks in a soft voice. I do enjoy your sense of humor. It's quite fiery. Ooh la la. We'll blow him a kiss. Mind the fire or you'll get burned. Darren lowers his lashes with a slight smirk. Thanks for the warning, but I am absolutely fire resistant, even if the flame is ever so charming. Bless, we're even finding time to flirt in the middle of whatever this is. Our Meatloaf is just like, I'm gonna stand over here. I'm not part of this. There's plenty more where that came from, ma'am. I'll do everything that you've ordered. Just as soon as those Crusaders arrive, they'll be dead meat. I'll go make sure that we get make it another 2 barrels of alchemist fire from the Great Garrison storeroom. Things are gonna burn up right up there. Yes, go burn the library. I don't condone burning books, but oh my gosh. That interaction.
Is that a trap?
No,
It might be a trap.
It's a book. I hope it's not a trap. What is this? Without a shadow of a doubt, expecting nothing in return, the life and beats of Lord Alexar Tresbot by Nora Dindiwar. Narasine, Cruciform Cathedral Publishing House. Frowning, Lord Tresbot made a gesture for his people to halt. Everyone froze. No one dared to disobey his order, even one given with his eyes alone. Lord Tresbot loved to say that he could only win when his whip frightened his soldiers more than the demon's claws, and he succeeded like no other in enforcing discipline. A lord approached what we took for a scarecrow from afar, left in the middle of the wasteland by an unknown farmer. Working it with his sword, the lord made us a sign to approach. It was the body of a young crusader, a boy, not 20 years old, horribly broken, disemboweled, with shards of bone sticking out and shreds of skin dangling in the wind. Horror watched us from the stake, eyes, sockets filled with worms. A contemptuous smirk crossed the lord's face. Coward, he said through his teeth. fled from the battle. The demons caught him and he surrendered without a fight. And here are his useless fellows. The Lord kicked an inconspicuous bump under his feet and it rolled, revealing an open helmet's visor with greenish-gray mush inside, swarming with insects. We shivered and looked down, realizing the ground underneath our feet was a mix of shards of metal and pieces of flesh. Cowards, the Lord said again. Cowards and weaklings. They were doomed even before they approached the world wound. They should never have left their comfortable homes. What did they achieve? They delivered the demons a hot lunch, that's all. Let's go. While the slugs waste their useless lives, someone has to win this ridiculous war. Without turning away or heeding the disgusting crunching sound under his feet, he strode forward. We hurried after him, trying not to step on anything that was, until recently, a part of someone's body. Oh my goodness. Let's save these people. Praise Iomade, we're saved! You came just in time. A blind elf stands before you. He looks extremely strange. His face wears its years heavily, which is unusual for members of his race. Thinning gray hair, a ragged beard, sightless, milky eyes, pale, papery skin covered in age spots, a spine curved by the passage of time. This is not how elves typically age. The youth that graces the faces of elves, even on their deathbed, has totally abandoned this decrepit specimen. Oh, we're not holding that back, are we? Ugh, that is an elf with a beard? I guess the worst can be found even among the best. The old elf holds out his hand in your direction in the perennial gesture of the blind, greeting you with an unexpectedly strong and calm voice. Hello, I am Storyteller, and I wish to thank my rescuers. That is you, if I am not mistaken. Storyteller. The Storyteller is a mysterious elf traveler who arrived in Canabra shortly before Daskari attacked. The strangest part about him is not his blindness, but the fact that he looks ancient, even though old age typically does not affect the appearance of elves. This enigmatic figure harbors many secrets. Storyteller? That's the first I've ever heard of a venerable old-timer like that having a street name. Sometimes a person can lose their name, but Mama and Papa are gone, friends are gone, and there's nobody to ask what it was. So instead of their name, a person can pick any word that is good. Everybody has to have a name. Or do they? I don't know. Okay, who are you? The old elf frowns. I prefer people to call me Storyteller. It very accurately describes the sphere of my occupations and interests. In most of the places I have been, I am known by that name. You piqued my curiosity. Is Storyteller, are you a bard? If so, you should come perform at one of my parties instead of knocking about in this dusty library. A bard? In some sense, yes, but not the type of bard that performs at festivities. I think your guests would lose their appetite after hearing my tales. What a shame, and I was so hoping to wheel you out for my guest. With your unusual appearance, you would have caused quite the scandal. But lugubrious bards are of no use to me. Half the bards in the city are the same. The repertoire is confined to the one about longing, the one that causes indigestion, and the one that's a complete waste of time. I mean, really, how is one supposed to host a party with that? When I was little, my mother and father used to tell me stories, but I have no one to tell me stories now. Sometimes Grandma does in my dreams, but I always forget them in the morning. Can you tell me a story? Ember, can you not? That's kind of creepy. The corners of the blind elf's mouth slowly creep upward. For you, I may have a story to tell, but perhaps it is you who has a story for me. We do, actually. There was a griffin statue here. It suddenly came to life and flew away. Do you know anything about that? The griffin stood in this library for decades, but only today did he take flight. Why? I do not know, but I am glad his ancient slumber came to an end. The elf smiles at his thoughts. He has a long story behind him, and yet the real tale is only just beginning today. No, I will not reveal his secrets. I think your paths will cross again, so you can ask him yourself. Well, fine, then let's talk to you about something else. The old elf responds with dignity and courtesy, but firmly. In thanks for my rescue, I, of course, will render you a service in turn, whatever it may be. However, at this moment, I wish to be somewhere safer than the present surroundings. My recent adventures have fatigued me greatly. I would be grateful if you could help me to a safe shelter of some kind. The stubborn side of the elf's mouth tells you that he won't change his mind. Typical. You do someone a good turn, and instead of saying thank you, they just ask for more help. Oh, Finian. We can't not help him. If it was up to me, Grandfather Elf, I'd throw you over my shoulder and carry you out of here. This is no place for old folks. I wonder if he's like interacting because we have him equipped. So he's like out and in the party. But he's still cool. Okay, well, we will take you to... Oh no, am I going to go with you? Wait, I have other things. No, I still want to help you. But there were other things I wanted to look at in here. Okay, well, I guess we'll find out if I did this wrong here in a second. I'm taking you to the Defender's Heart. Oh, the storyteller lowers his voice slightly. Please wait. I'm not the only one thankful to you. That young crusader over there is eager to give his regards. But he is too shy to approach you. I can tell from his quickened breathing. Take pity on the lad and accept his thanks. Clam? The young man with aristocratic features wipes the sweat from his brow and gives you a courteous bow. Allow me to introduce myself. Brother Clam, at your service. Thank you for helping us. We thought we were doomed to perish. There is death everywhere here. Sometimes I think we are all doomed, but then death has passed us by, and we are all still alive. Not helping, Ember. Lynn looks at Ember with sorrow in his eyes. But you're an elf. You should live hundreds of years and never even worry about dying. Little elf girls shouldn't even know such words. When children are thrown into the middle of a war, they learn many sad things. That is why we have to win, so that other boys and girls don't have to learn what we did. That's fabulous. Who are you? We are Crusaders of the Order of the Flaming Lance. Our order dedicates itself to the pursuit of hidden knowledge and magical methods of fighting the demons. We are searching for our leader, Sister Mayamir, a scholar. She spent the last few weeks here, working day and night on some important research. When the demons attacked the city, we rushed here to find her, but it seems she left the city shortly before the attack began. Mayamir just left the city, leaving no word of where she could be found? None. She left in a hurry, without leaving any notes or orders. Why? I have no idea. The only thing that may serve as a clue is this book, the one she was studying. The knight holds out the leather-bound tome to you. Oh, my company of worn-out words, Songs of a Crusader. This book. A collection of ballads composed by a bard who fought in the Second Crusade. The first songs are brimming with swaggering optimism, but as the collection progresses, the texts grow darker and more obscure as the despair and madness slowly take possession of the bard's mind. Mayamir has annotated one of the verses. Long dead fingers of blackest stone, the forbidden tree stretches out its branches to me. White pebbles dog my steps, 1,000 piercing eyes on hoar-frosted ground. The winter's sun's rays caress the runes, ancient symbols burn on hardened bark. Secrets crusted over with white lichen, and a white fog steals over my weary mind. In Mayamir's handwriting, a note reads, Tree? Runes? Stone Book of the Druids of Old Sarkoris here? Mayamir's note mentions something about a book belonging to the Druids of Old Sarkoris? What does that mean? Stone books. The Druids of Old Sarkoris used sacred trees as books. They carved their secret knowledge on the bark. When the demons came, the Druids resorted to a dark ritual that turned the trees to stone and the Druids themselves into undead, doomed to guard their stone library grove forever. But that happened far from here in the Stone Wilds. Is it possible that that's where Mayamir went? Or maybe she found one of those trees somewhere nearby. I don't know. Well, the stone statue in the library suddenly turned into a living griffin. What happened? That statue was carved in Old Sarkoris long before the demonic invasion. Everyone marveled at the beauty of its fine stonework. Each feather was practically lifelike. They would say the griffin looked like it was about to spread its wings and take flight, but no one thought it would actually happen, of course. Believe me, I am just as surprised as you are. Having said that, I do have an inkling of an idea. The knight rubs his chin thoughtfully. There was a legend in Sarkoris that mentioned an ancient chieftain who could turn into a beast and who vanquished countless enemies. But one day, he just vanished. It claimed he was sleeping somewhere, but would wake up one day to save Sarkoris from a terrible fate. Everybody thought it was just a tall tale. Obviously, no shape-shifting chieftain showed up to stop the demonic horde. Perhaps the statue was that very same person slumbering in stone, waking up only now that a demonic lord has come real close. He shrugs. Don't take my word for it, it's just a guess. I hope we get a chance to take a closer look at this griffin. Well, that's fun. How did you end up in this trap? The traitor met us at the door. He seemed a faithful and passionate crusader, and we didn't suspect a thing until they attacked us from behind and knocked us out. We didn't expect such trickery. Most of our order brethren are dead, and we were desperate to believe that this man in armor was a fellow crusader, comrade. While we were unconscious, they removed our armor and tossed us on the pyre books. What macabre blasphemy. Ain't it always the way? You start to think you might be able to trust a fella, and boom, he goes and stabs you in the back. Well, who is the elf with you? Is he a crusader as well? No, he calls himself the storyteller, and he only recently arrived in Cockatrice. We often saw him in the library. He was interested in the writings about early Sarkoris and the era before that. It seems the traitor caught him in the library and decided to kill him along with the rest of us. The young man's voice drops to a polite murmur. Have you noticed that the storyteller is a little odd? Even for Cockatrice, where you can meet the strangest people from the farthest corners of the globe among the crusaders. Have you ever seen such a decrepit elf before? Not just old, but ancient, with a gray beard like that. Elves don't tend to grow beards, I thought, and they don't have wrinkles. An elf with wrinkles and a beard. A detestable absurdity. Hold on there. A beard isn't the worst thing a person can have growing on their face. You should see some of the people back in my village. I wonder if Lan only grows like half a beard. Like only on his human side, right? So he could only have half his face covered. And then the other half would have no beard. Because I don't think this side has hair. Maybe it has a little bit of hair. But definitely not like this side does. Like the human side looks like it does. The worst thing that's growing on your face is your mouth. Please try to open it a little less often. Lan clenches his teeth and turns away, but with a dismissive wave of his hand. They are having a great time together, let me tell you. Go to the defender's heart. Those who are ready to fight back are gathering there. The city still fights? Why, that's incredible news. We will go to our sanctuary guarded by our order brothers and sisters. We will bring them to the defender's heart. Huzzah. Bye, everybody. Oh, good. That didn't stop us from making more checks and stuff. Some monstrously large demonic blade fell upon the library, splitting... Wait, what is this? Did we pass that check? Okay, we did. Some monstrously large demonic blade fell upon the library, splitting the ruins in two and leaving an enormous black scar. It is possible that Daskari himself was the one to destroy this building with his terrifying scythe, Rift Carver. Ooh, Rift Carver. Let's see, what is this? The Keen Edge of Truth, Recollections and Admonitions of an Inquisitor of Asmodeus. The demon lords whose names are known to mortals number no more than a few dozen. Far more numerous are those who aspire to the rank in their own abyssal realm, but who as yet are unable to make a bid for such power. There are hundreds, possibly thousands of such demons, but their names are known only to experienced demonologists and to those unhappy fools who decide to sell their souls to the abyss, and fail even to find a worthy patron for their trouble. Time and time again, one of these weaker demons will secure a resounding victory, scale the heights, or should that be sink to the depths, of the demon hierarchy, already fancying themselves a demon lord, when they soon make a misstep and die an inglorious death. The fate of such a demon could serve as a lesson to the rest, but if demons possess the capacity to learn from their own, or others' mistakes, would they even be demons? No. A stubborn refusal to learn is one of the major flaws that distinguish the bedlam of the abyss from the well-ordered hierarchy of hell. The demoness Isyagna, that's a great name too, she of the sevenfold swarm, serves as an example of such a fall from disgrace. One of the many daughters of Lamashtu, she possessed 7 bodies, 7 mortal women of the various races of Galarian, each with an ant's head, controlled by one hive mind. That sounds horrifying. She commanded various insects, swarming, crawling creatures, with her ants her especial preference. The author of these words witnessed the oath of obedience sworn by her cultists of Isiagna with his own eyes. The witless initiate was forced to meditate while standing atop an anthill. However, the human sacrifices being carried out by this fool's brethren around the little town I was serving in at the time were far more amusing. It required no small effort to destroy the cultists who had been summoning ravenous swarms and spreading madness in the name of their mistress. So what became of her? What fate befell Isiagna? The particulars are unknown, but consensus holds that the mistress of the crawling swarm ran afoul of the master of the flying swarm, the far more powerful demon lord Discari. Only Lamashtu's intercession saved her daughter from death, but not from abasement and the loss of her powers. Consequently, most of her followers forsook for the cult of the Mother of Beasts. Today, Isiagna is worshipped by a handful of individuals who possess a stubborn predilection for sitting on anthills. And even to them, she can grant only minor spells. What are we learning from this book? And why are people failing checks? Is there something over here? There is something over here. How to make money during the war against demons. Hey, here we go. My mentor and training partners used to feel sorry for me. I had enough power to summon and hold a lesser empathist. Would you call that real magic? Heh. But there's nothing a smart lad like me can't use to stake out his reputation and make his fortune. There's one particularly nasty sort of demons called abracandalus. They're made of the souls of vandals and destroyers of art. In demon form, they continue to do the same. When they see beautiful pictures and statues, they fly into a rage and desecrate them. I once overheard a conversation on the street between two art collectors. They couldn't decide whether they should patronize a young and promising artist or a famous maestro, whose best days were behind him. So I made them an offer. How about we place the two paintings side by side and I'll summon an abracandalu. Whichever painting it attacks first would naturally be the more beautiful. The key was to banish the demon in time before it destroyed the painting. But that wasn't going to be a problem for me. The collectors agreed to run this experiment according to my plan, and thus my legacy began. 3 months later, not a single art event could do without me and my demon servant. We were invited to exhibition openings, appraisers' workshops, and auctions. The more the enraged the demon became on seeing another carving or slapdash daub, the higher its price soared, and they paid me well for my appraisal. I often staged artist battles in which the demon would choose which of two paintings it despised most, and the tickets sold like hotcakes. However, there was one unfortunate incident. A gnome and an elf came to me from Absalom, two young, bright-eyed artists. They wanted to enter one of these battles, but they offered peculiar sculptures instead of paintings. The gnome had a huge pile of nibbled apples preserved by a spell. The elf had a watering can without any holes, which stood on a cart with one square wheel. This, as they explained to me, was modern art. It was, how did they put it, unconventive? Or some such thing? They claimed it was popular in Absalom, where the gnome and the elf were famous unconventive artists. It must be unconventional. Well, my job is simple, to display their works, gather an audience, and release my demon from its prison. And that's precisely what I did. But the abracandalu came out of his cage, looked at the apples, and at the watering can with the cart, and then looked at me like I was a complete idiot. Turned around and went back to his cage with an expression of utter disappointment. It was nearly an international scandal. I was so upset that I even returned the money for the appraisal to the gnome and the elf. But it's all right. My business still thrives, even without the Absalom clientele. Meanwhile, where are my more talented fellow apprentices? Half are still crouched over books learning what they can. The other half went off to those ridiculous crusades and perished. They never considered that demons can be used to make money, and a lot of it. I think I'll soon buy myself a little palace and cover its walls with the works of all the most famous artists. Ha! I love that. That was a good one. That's actually kind of smart. Stunning barrier. Ew. Okay, there's storyteller. Is there anything over here? Oh, there is a wall over here. I wanted books, but we got a wall. You gonna open the door or are you just gonna freak out? Oh. There's lots of stuff in here. Ooh, what is this? A quarterstaff. Quarterstaff of coercion. And a pickaxe. Do I need a pickaxe? I don't think we mine. I think we just pick stuff up off the ground. But I will unequip this, take off, and I will give you the quarterstaff because you are a monk and you need a quarterstaff. Oh yeah, look, its hair doesn't grow on this side. I didn't even think to look in here. Can we zoom in on you? Okay, so his hair kind of, he must like it. I mean, it sort of does. It sort of does, but it really doesn't. Not compared to like this side. So I bet if he did grow a beard, it would kind of grow maybe a little bit off on here, but then mainly not. It would mainly not be on. That's really cool. I don't think I've ever looked at Lan up, like Lan's model up close like that. What about me? I forget that this is what I look like and not this, because this, our character looks nothing like her picture. Look how happy she is. She's like, I'm just a little crazy and I'm dead. And you have this fool. He just looks mildly unhappy and his hair looks fake. His hair looks so fake. Look at all that. I mean, she did get burned. Her hand is kind of like not attached to her body though. That's a little unsettling. Oh, didn't I have more? No, I probably sold them. I was like, didn't I have more bracers or something? I am pretty sure I did sell them. Anyways, we're done looking at that. What is this? This is a statue of a lean man dressed in wizard's robes. You do not recognize his face. Okay, why did you make that check? Can I make that check? We do not recognize his face. Do you recognize his face? You do not recognize his face.
Are we in trouble yet?
No, we're just trying to figure out who this man is.
Foot is restless. I wonder why.
Smile. The world's not ending just yet.
Okay, so we have no idea who this man is. It is just some robed wizard. Some unknown person. Woljeff, did you go make a check?
Where else would I be?
You don't recognize him either. Okay. I guess other dude left? No, storyteller's right there. I'm taking you to Defender's Heart. Okay, please accept my sincere thanks once again, and if I may, please don't rush. I will struggle to keep up with your young legs. Do we have that other place? I don't want to go. No, we're not going to go to Defender's Heart just yet. We'll come back here. I can't even leave. Oh, I guess we have to go to Defender's Heart because I can't leave. But I still have that other place. I wanted to go. Oh, I have the wine cellar and everything. I guess we'll have to come back out here. Okay, let's go. Yes. Let's take the 8 hours or however long it takes to get back across the world over here.